Most of you aren't subscribed. Make sure to subscribe, as it helps out the channel. Without further ado, the anime opens with our MC Aizawa Azusa, a 27-year-old corporate slave working her life away without experiencing any romantic relationships. But suddenly one day Azusa collapsed due to overworking. Appearing before a goddess as a yellow orb, the goddess feels bad for Azusa, offering Azusa a carefree life with an immortal body. Reminding Azusa that mana will be used in her new world, the goddess sends Azusa off into the highlands, starting her off with a 17-year-old body. Having been dropped into a new world, Azusa is amazed she can read this world's language, spotting a home that is vacant and free to live in. Admiring her new body, Azusa says she looks like a witch, exploring the home only to spot a field and a village nearby. Having been given a weapon and some coins, Azusa heads out, only to run into a slime. Unsheathing her sword, Azusa slashes at the slime, but the creature simply evades, retaliating with an attack but does no damage to Azusa. Going all out, Azusa slays the slime, only to notice a gem drop from it. Heading to the nearby village, Azusa learns the village is named Flata, instructed to visit the nearby Adventurers Guild for work. Greeting the receptionist, Azusa learns that Flata village is quite peaceful, with only slimes roaming the area. The receptionist tells Azusa that the gems she acquired are magical stones and can be exchanged for money, but first the receptionist checks Azusa's stats. Azusa confirms that she has the witch class with a level of 1, but the receptionist points out how lucky it is to have immortality at such a low level. Just like that, Azusa's life consists of her taking it easy, starting each day by sleeping in only to tend to her fields. When she needs exercise, she slays slimes, aiming for 25 every day, and visits the forest occasionally to acquire the exact herbs she needs, thanks to her witch skill, only to sell them to the nearby village. After indulging in the laid-back life for 300 years, Azusa is seen tapping the slimes, curious as to how strong she's grown over time. Heading into town, Azusa is well known by everyone, having frequently treated patients with her medicine and even fighting off a plague that struck the town. Grateful to be given so much attention, Azusa exchanges her magical stones, only to be asked by the receptionist Natalie how strong she is. Having not checked in 300 years, Azusa chooses to evaluate her stats, shocking Natalie when she sees Azusa is level 99. Refusing to believe she's grown so strong by defeating mere slimes, Natalie points out Azusa has an ability that boosts her experience points earned, explaining how Azusa acquired over 10 million points over time. This is equivalent to 4,380 dragons slayed, meaning Azusa must be the strongest in the world. But Azusa states she doesn't want this attention ruining her peaceful life. Azusa asks Natalie to promise not to leak her status to anyone, heading to a nearby waterfall, only to freeze the entire location with a single ice spell. Forced to accept her insane growth, Azusa uses ice and fire magic to freeze and thaw meals, but one day suddenly gets a knock at the door. Spotting 4 adventurers outside, Azusa is petrified to hear them call her the level 99 witch, failing to come up with an excuse to convince them otherwise. With no other choice, Azusa takes the 4 all at once, drawing a circle and asking them to leave quietly once they lose. Seeing the enemy casting a wind spell, Azusa attempts to mimic the spell, but accidentally unleashes a devastating tornado that ends their duel. Rushing to the guild, Azusa asks if Natalie had leaked her true level, learning that Ernst the adventurer was the one who eavesdropped and leaked their earlier conversation. With word of Azusa's level spreading, Azusa is visited by the most powerful dragon of Nanterre, Laika, who challenges Azusa to a duel. When Azusa refuses, Laika threatens to rampage and destroy everything, forcing Azusa to accept. With Azusa donning her witch clothing, she takes flight to match Laika's wings, prompting Laika to unleash a fiery breath, only to be cancelled out by Azusa's ice magic. Impressed, Laika dashes forward clawing at Azusa, but upon seeing Laika trying to fire off another breath, Azusa simply freezes Laika's mouth. Falling out of the sky, Laika runs around mindlessly, accidentally destroying Azusa's house, forcing Azusa to knock Laika down with a single punch. Glaring at Laika, Azusa orders Laika to repair her house, something Laika agrees to do, asking for permission to retrieve funds from where they live. With Azusa warning Laika to not lie to her, Laika hurriedly flies off, leaving Azusa to head into town, seeing as her house is destroyed. As the town praises Azusa for fending off a dragon, Azusa chooses to stay at the Flata village office, thankful to be given the guest house. Azusa realizes the girl serving her was a young girl she saved in the past, choosing to accept the town's kindness and head to the Keen Eagle restaurant. Warmly greeted by the townsfolk, Azusa orders her usual omelet and beef stew, enjoying the delectable meal as the town celebrates Azusa the Great Witch of the Highlands. Waking up the next day, Azusa receives a visitor, asking who the redhead before her is, only to be stunned realizing Laika has changed into her human form. With Azusa confirming that Laika has indeed repaid her debt, Laika shyly asks to be Azusa's pupil, horrifying Azusa as she only got so strong fighting lowly slimes. Laika states she was naive to claim herself as the strongest, wishing to work diligently like Azusa and grow stronger. Azusa realizes that Laika could take over the cooking and cleaning, immediately taking Laika as her pupil, learning that Laika was born 300 years ago as well. Returning to her destroyed home, Azusa notes how they should expand to fit more people, prompting Laika to take over as she carries over some resources, immediately working on the overall foundation and structure of their new house. As it gets dark, Laika says she'll work all night and finish in the morning, but Azusa stops Laika, demanding Laika to not overexert herself. Touched by Azusa's words, Laika is grateful to her master, both clocking out for the day, only to return in the coming days to finish up. With Azusa amazed by Laika's hard work, they rush into town to celebrate, all whilst Azusa thinks about her new life with her first pupil.